a gun-loving gamer is now behind bars for revealing some of America's most sensitive intelligence information. The 21-year-old suspect is facing felony charges under the Espionage Act.
Brody Carter brings us a look at what we know about this young man and how he was able to access and leak highly classified documents.
With guns drawn, a tactical SWAT team with military gear surprised the village of North Dighton, Massachusetts, surrounding the 21-year-old suspect, Jack Teixeira, at his parents' home. Teixeira was ordered to walk backwards with his hands on his head towards an armored vehicle before being taken into custody.
Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira in connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, retention, and transmission of classified national defense information.
The young suspect allegedly responsible for putting America's security at risk was a low-ranking enlisted airman. His record says he served at Otis Air National Guard Base in Massachusetts and worked as a cyber transport systems journeyman or an IT specialist. It's been less than a week since the far-reaching leak sent the Pentagon and FBI into damage control. An estimated hundreds of spilled documents revealed the U.S. spying on allies and adversaries alike, and the disclosure of sensitive military intelligence about the war in Ukraine.
All indications are, again, this is a criminal act, a willful violation of those, and again, another reason why we're continuing to investigate and support DOJ's investigation.
The classified leak originated in the online discussion and gaming forum called Discord. One participant told the Associated Press that Teixeira was an observant Christian who spoke of God and prayed with members of the group. And before Teixeira's arrest, the Washington Post talked to one of those teens who was a member of that chat room. He described the leaker as a charismatic, gun-loving gamer. He apparently shared the intel to impress the people in the small group.
It felt like I was on top of Mount Everest. It felt like I was above everyone else to some degree, and that I would be able to brag to some people that I knew stuff that they didn't.
And he explained how the information got progressively more revealing.
The documents were often listed as Ukraine versus Russia at first. However, it slowly spiraled into just intelligence about everything.
Even though the documents have reportedly been online for some time, U.S. intelligence apparently didn't know about them until they were reported by the media. President Biden downplayed the leak during his visit to Ireland.
I'm concerned that it happened, but there's nothing contemporaneous that I'm aware of that is of great consequence.
But the view in Washington is clearly different, that the high-profile intelligence leaks are a very big deal and very bad for the U.S. As for Teixeira, he's expected to make his first court appearance today in Boston, facing felony charges under the Espionage Act. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Well, I said it yesterday, and it deserves being repeated today. How in the world does an airman in the National Guard get access to this kind of intelligence, and not just access, but the ability to reproduce it and then spread it online in a chat room? How does that ever happen? I had the same question about Corporal Manning years ago, where how in the world did he get access to all the diplomatic cables and then put that out over the internet in this grand disclosure of the innermost thoughts of our ambassadors and our Secretary of State? Shouldn't that have been a wake-up call, that perhaps these open databases shouldn't be that open, that there should be security clearances? If we're going to go after politicians for taking classified information home and putting it into some kind of storage unit or a garage, well, then this shouldn't ever happen. And we, as the citizens of the United States, need to ask our representatives, shouldn't there be some controls on the military as to who has access, let alone the disclosure, but should we shut it off at the access point, that there's no reason an airman in the National Guard needs to have the sensitive intelligence information of a war zone? Well, we'll see what happens with it, but this unfortunate young man, he's going to feel the full weight of the Department of Justice.